What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to go over my impressions on God of War Ragnarok. 16 hours. I've officially played the game 16 hours and 14 minutes, I believe, at the time of recording this. So I wanted to do kind of a, in between. This is my impressions of the first little, bit of the game, and then once I fully beat it and experience, what I want to experience, I will do a full review, and hopefully that's only a few days away because I'm going to play it a lot, this weekend. Probably at the time you guys are watching this video, I'm playing it as well. I love it. I really, really love it. Honestly, it gets better as the game goes on. Now, there is ups and downs. So the statement of it continues to get better like every 5 minutes is not necessarily true, because here's how it went with me. The opening 2 hours, as I made a video on a few days ago, I think is exactly how you open a game. I think the opening 2 hours is perfect is a tough word. It's a tough word to throw around with a game, but I really think in terms of catching you up on everything, pushing you forward to the next part of the journey, introducing characters, high, octane action, all of that stuff, the game does it better than almost any game I've ever seen, okay? So I really think the first 2 hours is just nearly perfect. I struggle. I don't like to say the word perfect because, the internet discourse. So you have that. And then after that, I will say the game did take a pretty big nosedive. There's mining. Let's just say that you're in the dwarven, realm, and there's a lot of puzzles. It's so puzzle heavy. I'm kind of an idiot, so puzzles tend to frustrate me quite often, especially when literally it's just a puzzle to get to a new room, to do another puzzle, to get to and it's like that for like an hour. So that tends to frustrate me in any game, not just God of War, and that did bring it down. Now, throughout the entire thing, the visuals are off the charts. They're off the charts. The lighting, incredible. The acting, especially as you keep going. Now, that's something I will say doesn't really ever drop. Even when you're doing puzzles, you may not be talking as much, but the acting is always, it's just, the bar is so high from the beginning to, then after the puzzle section. Any story kind of beat of this game is so strong with the actors. They do an incredible job, and that, I will say, continues to get better. There are just some incredible scenes around, let's say, I think it's maybe hour 6 or 7, I really love. Around hour, 14, 15 is incredible. That's where it really starts to take the next step, I think, to, pushing the game. So that's fantastic. And I just kind of said it right there. Once you get the puzzle thing done in that, 2, 3, 4 hour range of the game, it picks up again. And it just has so much to do. I tweeted yesterday that I played it for maybe 5.5 hours last night, and the first 3, I didn't play the story. I didn't even touch the main mission. And you think about that. Take a few steps back and you think about it and you say, God of War, a God of War game where you play 3 hours of it, but you're not doing the story. That's unheard of. Now, God of War 2018, was that step to doing that, but this one is no, we're going all in. We're going to give you a side quest, and then that side quest will turn into 3 more side quests, and they're all good. The basic story of the side quests, any of them, are good enough to get you going. And then they're just different. There's a lot of variety, whether, a lot of it is, well, it's not like a collect-a-thon. You're going through, you're trying to do different puzzles. You're trying to maybe collect some things in some of them. Maybe you're beating enemies in others. It has enough variety, I think, that makes it really special. And that's a tough thing. That's a really tough thing because, look, they didn't have to have the worlds as big as they are. They didn't have to have so many side quests in this game. And when you do that, you need to have reason for the player to play it. So whether that is it's engaging because of a story element, or it differs just enough in terms of the puzzles and the enemies that you're going about, or maybe the loot, the allure of what you get for completing it is so special, because that is, you could do a side quest kind of early in the game and you'll get armor as a reward, and that armor will hold. It'll be pretty solid even in comparison to things you'll get by doing main story stuff. So there's reasons to do the side things, and like I said, they're different enough from each other. They involve you doing different things. It's a lot of fun. And that's what I kind of find is as the game continues to go, and as you start to face mini bosses throughout it, it's there's just a lot to do in this game, and the combat is so good. The combat really is amazing, and it continues to grow, and especially as you get more powerful, it grows even more. And I think they know that. I think they know that their combat is special because they lean into it, right? They're constantly throwing things at you, but again, they do it smart. They do it where you're jumping around an area that you never really did that, in the past. different enemy types, so it's a little bit challenging. I mean, the game is actually quite hard. I died several times. The enemies do a good amount of damage, at least on like medium difficulty or whatever that, you know, the version is. But I'm having an absolute blast from a gameplay perspective, and then a story perspective. I think it's good. It's long. I mean, this is a very long, sprawling kind of story that's trying to do a lot of things. Now, obviously, again, because this isn't a review, this is just kind of where I'm at right now. I think it's holding up rather well, and this is one of those games that I get it. Like, after now playing it for 16 hours, I get why you couldn't really show much in that, you know, in any of the things leading into this game, because you would be spoiling something inadvertently, at least, by doing it. Because the stuff that we've seen, that you know, the official things from the trailers and stuff, that's like the beginning. It's the very beginning of the game, and then everything else kind of, you know, opens up and you haven't seen before. And that's good. I like that kind of breath of fresh air, because, you know, there's a lot that I don't know where it's going. You can assume, you can figure it out, but, you know, we don't actually know from like the trailers and stuff. So it's a blast. Again, from visuals, combat is incredible. The story is very good. I wouldn't say it's like the most spectacular thing of all time. That's my opinion right now. My wife watched the entire thing and did that on her own, and she says that it continues to get better. So I'm sure maybe by the end of the game I'll say like, oh my god, it's a 10 out of 10 story. But the story is very good. The characters, like I said, in terms of like the acting, it's so good. It's so good. And, you know, I kind of get the sense where it's like I don't want to say going through the motions. Going through the motions probably is like a negative, you know, phrase to say for a game like this. But I just feel like this game knows that it's good. Like, just from the beginning, I don't know how they did that, right, from the behind the scenes at Santa Monica, but they know their game is good. And they just crafted it, and they just did their own thing. They mind their own business, and it's just high quality throughout. It's rare, I feel, for a game where, you know, I'm 16 hours in. I think to do everything in this game is around 40, 45-ish hours. It's, I think, rare for a game to be almost 50 hours long, to do all of this stuff, and to keep such a high quality throughout the, you know, like, you know what I mean? Like, there'd be dips. There'd be times where it's not. And I guess, I mean, maybe there are some of them in this game, but they're not as big of a dip, I would say, maybe as like other games, because there's still a lot of high quality. Like, the puzzles, they're very clever, very different. Like, they're not trying to repeat the same one over and over. Each one requires something a little bit different or a slightly different plan. So, you know, that keeps it going. So even during the puzzles, for me, when I'm not as engaged, or maybe they're telling a story during those puzzles, because oftentimes they'll try to like fill the gap, right? And Kratos will say, hey, you want me to tell a story? I'll tell a story of my past. And it's like, oh, these are awesome. So even in moments where you're trying to figure stuff out, you know, the lighting is still good, and the visuals are still good, and the environment's still good, and then he's telling a story about his past, and you're like, oh, that's really cool that they included that. So even during those moments, they know how to kind of counter it in their own game. So it's a special game. It really is. I really don't know right now if it's my game of the year. You know, you guys may know I'm a huge fan of A Plague Tale Requiem. That still is up there. So it's between that and God of War right now. But I'm having a blast. And obviously, I think it's worth it. This game is absolutely worth the money put into it. So again, I will be doing a full review once I beat the game, and we'll talk about the ending in a separate kind of spoiler-filled video. I'll talk about maybe the next God of War, whatever the next game will be in general. So I have a couple, you know, post finishing the game videos planned. So make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on, so you know all these videos go up. If you want to follow or support me anywhere else, all my social media links are in the description below. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you all on the next one.